What's going on, everybody? Gustav the 13th here with another video checking out the Gelgoog high mobility Johnny Ridden type. Again, for pre-anniversary, we get two suits. So the Johnny Ridden, they're kind of treating like the Gundam narrative when it first came out. 4-step banner. Each one has a level 1 through 4 guaranteed. Unfortunately, that also means that the first step is not discounted. It is full 30. But we got the level 1. All of our stuff when we're talking about this is going to be based on the level 1. There's a little bit of a tidbit that we're going to look at when we talk about the level 3 and 4. But for now, let's get into the brass tacks when it comes to its weapons and its skills and stuff at baseline. So, we got the high mobility JR rocket launcher. Both of these are unique to the suit itself. They're not based on any of the other Gelgoog's weapons. So this is 900 because this is a 2-round burst shot with 6 ammo, 300 range. So both hits connect. It will typically stun. There's a lot of accumulation on both shots. They're very tight together too. A little bit tough to spread, but it does mean that you have a little bit of leeway when it comes to big clusterfucks in front of you. You can throw these down. They're not going to do a lot of damage, but they will accumulate a lot. I already think that this should probably be put up to at least 1,000 and some change. I think the way that the level 2 is at 1050 is how I should start at baseline, just so that there's a little bit more punish here outside of just landing punish when people roll and things like that. The saber, nothing to really write home about. Typical Naginata swings with this one. No third swing or anything crazy like that, despite it being a raid, no heavy attack, yada yada. But I think this is kind of made up by the fact that it has 2 other shots that are instant stuns. So the rifle actually instant stuns on neutral shot. It pierces on charge shot. And the giant bazooka is just another instant stun right there for you. This one, out of all of them, has the longest ready up time. So more often than not, you're probably going to want to start with this, maybe follow it with this, and if they burn through their roll and you're just kind of walking around, try to punish them with this. This is also something that you would throw in there for, like I said, when there's big groups and things like that. Going on over to the stats and skills then, we are going to take a look at the stats first. So very, very, very even keel here. Ballistic and beam being under 20 is a little concerning, even at 450, but 14 for those. Melee resistance is 20, range strength and melee strength are both 25. Movement speed is 125, top speed is 220, thrusting gauge is 70, and the turning speed is at 66. So a little on the low side, especially for a raid. Again, this is low cost. Although, that being said, I am a little bit curious. Hold on. If we look at the... What am I doing? Here we go. Yeah. Man, that seems rough. I know that they're very rigid about changing high speed and... Oh, if you notice that, movement speed actually changes from 1 to 2. And then for 3 and 4, it actually changes to 135 from the 125 here to 130. But they're very strict about not changing turning speed, which I think they should be a little bit more lax about. There's no reason for a 550 or especially a 600 being at like 66 turning speed on a raid. I feel like at least 69, if not 70 something, right? So that's already one of my gripes for this suit and just the way that they tend to treat suits in general. Now beyond that, part slottage wise, we're talking about close, medium, and long being 13, 10, and 9. As you can see, especially when you think about all the range that you have, they are kind of making it a bit tough to do a more ranged heavy build. They definitely want you to try to get in there either with mobility or to try to punish with the melee after you do everything else. Especially since, you know, it is a raid, it does have priority 3, space compatibility on this one. However, since it's just like a late stage high mobility. So when the time Ridden was writing this, it was actually more so during the end of the 1-year war, so they were all in space. Makes sense. In terms of skills, though, we have Assault Booster level 1, Melee Composite System level 1, so uses melee attack or tackle to cancel hard landings after jumping or high-speed movement. Allows for a 2-attack melee combo, and damage is reduced during combo attacks, so it peels off a little bit, is essentially what that's saying, just because it's 2 different skills crammed together. High speed, AMBAC 2, maneuver armor 2, force injector 2, enhanced tackle 2, so 65 to attack and plus 5% to distance covered. Shield brings stance mastery, evasion system 2, so you can roll twice, flight control program, anti-blast stabilizer, typical hallmarks you would hope for. Interesting that we have this at 450. Flight control, there's some suits that have it. It's not super common. It definitely jumps up in commonality when you get into 500 and above. So nice to still see this on something here, especially since it is ultimately still a Hymo. Special leg buffer 2 and quick turn. Interesting here, considering that this is not a vertex. Other Hymos don't have this, but this has it. As an ace suit, I guess that makes more sense, right? So if you're very used to doing quick turns to fake people out and or get some power out of your ship, definitely here. Keep in mind that this is level 1, so you're still taking 30% extra damage, yada yada. But somebody pointed out, and we're gonna go back to the database for a second, because the higher level versions of this suit, I wonder, does it start here? No, it starts at level 3 up to level 4. So level 3 gets not only Pursuit Melee Auxiliary Program, by the way, so a bunch of like extra combined skills. So optimized killing efficiency on thruster initial consumption is decreased by 10. Increase melee weapon damage against toppled enemies by 15% for the Pursuit Auxiliary Melee. So they definitely want you to do melee when you're looking at level 3 and up. It makes it a little bit more clear that despite all the midlining stuff that you can do with it, it's still wanting you to thwack people with the Naginata. Reaction booster program, increased mobile suit turning capacity. So this is a little bit weird. I was just talking about turning speed, but they do it as a skill sometimes. Increased mobile suit turning capabilities. So by 6. That actually puts it into the 70s. Something to keep in mind, I guess. But that's only for 3 and 4. Thruster output increased 2 as well, so plus 10 to your high speed movement. And quick turn level 2, this is the big thing here. Press the touchpad during high speed movement, spin and negate reactions caused by enemy attacks, yada yada yada. But instead of it being 30%, it's 20% to the increased damage, so they reduced it a little bit for level 2. And note that when reactions are negated, this unit's limiter is removed for 10 seconds. Increasing damage dealt to enemies and thruster recovery rate. Can't be used in midair. So, it has, again, like in a lot of cases with these kinds of extra things, they don't tell you the percentage right away. The JP Wiki will probably do the calculations, or you'll see it in a Reddit post somewhere about like how much it really increases it. But it's kind of nice, especially because a lot of people do use quick turn to, you know, spin out of a hit or a counter and then just slap somebody. So you're actually getting rewarded for doing that with some extra damage. Very nice there. The recovery rate, of course, especially if you're getting mixed up in melee, you're just doing some other like neutral shots, means that you'll be able to do more stuff out of the spin a little bit sooner. So nice things to note, especially for the fact that this is going to be a 550 and 600 with these. So it definitely needed something. I'm glad that they didn't just kind of throw those out raw from putting this at 450. Things to keep in mind if you do the further steps, for sure. Going on from there, we can look at the upgrades for this. So the enhancement list, at least on level 1, we're talking anti-melee reinforcement, so +1 to melee resistance, +1 to range strength, plus 100 shield health, and at the very end of the regular upgrades, we got expansion slots, so +1 to all your slots for 1860. This is a 3-star, so you have to have gold stuff to unlock the other 2, so we have +5 to melee resistance and +5 to range strength for that. Overall, not bad. I don't know if I really feel that this is like narrative range in terms of what it can do, but we will go into practice and show this off a little bit. Here we go. Alright, so first things first. Like I was saying before, this is cumulative. You can see there, and I'll try to do another shot that just shows off like... Man, that came out fast. But that comes out really fast. I'm trying to switch to my other thing, but you can see that it's pretty much like 75% for the first shot. And they're so tight together. Instant stun for the beam rifle, and then of course you can see that really long wait time for the bazooka. Not too bad damage on a tight disadvantage suit. You can see that 3200, even at the generally lower stuff for when you're taking tight disadvantage suits to school. not too bad. Obviously, whenever you start to thwack with anything else, and as you're probably seeing even there, not a lot of splash damage on those. You saw me move that only slightly over there. Now, unless I hit the shield. Ah, okay, that might have been what it was. But even then, the accumulation should have been a thing. That one still registered both. Which is interesting. We'll show off the piercing for this too. And a little bit of a quick turn. Ooh, fancy. Get a quick charge in here. Maybe about in the back. Not too bad. A little bit extra damage. The transition from most of the weapons into the downswing is still pretty nice. You can definitely get in there with that. That being said, the one big thing that I will say is that do not forget that this is a Gelgoog. Gelgoogs have a very bad notoriety for having very fat but very frail legs. Things, especially even the Gundam, because it has a little bit more range rating and stuff these days. Not to mention accumulation for its taps. It will fuck your legs up. That downswing is no joke. That rifle will hurt you a lot. You're probably gonna have to put some kind of buffer on it, or at least try to make the damage up difference-wise in terms of just putting more offense so that all your shots kind of count. Just a little bit more. But in general, that's all there is to it. It's not a very complicated suit. And like I said, I don't really know how I feel about the staying power of this, especially when we get into the fact that the G-Quux suits, you know, the White Gundam, the Castball, and all that stuff are here. Obviously, those are generals, but that's the thing. It's gonna make this thing's situation pretty miserable, let alone the usual mainstays with the actual Grandpa Gundam itself. But it's not bad. In terms of base accumulation, the G rocket doesn't really do a whole lot. The giant bazooka, you can see, does like some visible tickage to it. The rifle, surprisingly, about the same. Not too bad. Obviously, the charge shot's not going to be super worth it. You might as well just manage your heat, because out of everything, that's going to be the one thing you're probably more reliably doing between other shots. Especially when you see just how long the cooldown is for the fucking bazooka. It's a little brutal. I might give this more of a shot as we go in. I don't know if I really want to hazard the higher level versions, but we do have a match that we got on Arctic Base. Arguably, Arctic Base is kind of a strong testing ground for this, just because it's very simple. There's a lot of high-end places for people to just kind of pick at you or to brawl at, and obviously it does have the priority and all that, but like I said, big target, big body, rough legs. I think this is around the time where I try to put buffers on it at least to mitigate that a little bit, so we're gonna put that match right around here.
All pilots, prepare for combat.
Disgusting.
Deploy at once.
Oh, that was a little quieter than I thought it was gonna be.
Commencing operation.
Get away. Why? Don't fucking hit you. I'll be like, oh, he's using a regular, but on a high mo. No simplified, huh? I gotta play Huggy Duggy. Have a safe drive home. Eyeball. Fucking shield, goddammit. Ah, fire.
We've lost an allied unit. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
Oh, look at him. Look at him trying to find me. What a piece of shit.
Damage detected, but you're alright. You can stay in the fight. Enemy unit destroyed.
Be ashamed of yourself.
captured by the... An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
Oh. Oh. I still hit him, but it... Unless... Oh, that might have been him doing a downswing. I don't know if he popped or not. I like the leggy burger. Oh, that away. Yeah, I'll get the eyeball. Eyeball. Oh, that's really slow.
Shield damage. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. Significant damage detected.
Oh, that was more spaced out than I thought.
Taking too much damage. Mobile suits on its last legs. No! Mobile suits been destroyed.
That Alex really made a problem for us, though.
We lost an ally. Select a location and method.
I do wonder if they'll ever try to touch it up. Because yeah, that Gatling is gross, but it feels too stumpy. I really think they should put it at least 200, if not like 250 or something.
Requesting redeployment.
Like I get that the Tristan's like a more bumped up version,
Ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
but like 300 feels like a good range.
We lost an ally unit.
Oh, get a little too technical there, brother.
Destroyed an enemy mobile suit. Damage detected.
Oh my god, where the hell is the dude that was here a second ago?
We lost an ally unit. An
Oh,
ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. Enemy unit destroyed. Significant damage detected. Taking too much damage. The mobile suit's on its last legs. We lost an ally unit. An ally. Shield damage. Be careful. No! The mobile suit's been destroyed. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. Looks like we've got the... Requesting redeployment.
I don't know this because is this
Destroyed
it?
an enemy
No.
mobile suit.
Actually, that sucks. I don't want to be near this guy.
You're all right.
Such a big place.
Enemy unit destroyed.
Hit him. Hit him. Oh, the accumulation was enough. There it is.
Unit destroyed. Listen, how'd you pull up an ally? 2 minutes remaining for the operation. Bases are especially valuable for this mission. protected. No!
Ooh.
Been destroyed.
We started the giant zoo.
We lost an ally.
Yeah. It's the slowest for sure. There's something also to be said about like maybe using the two-stepper as like a punish after they roll, since they won't really have too much to get out of it with. And then the rifle is just a good in-betweener because the radio's the fastest for sure.
Requesting redeployment. We lost an ally unit. An ally. Enemy fire incoming. Retreat. Enemy unit destroyed. We lost an ally unit. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
If he's actually gonna fucking melee or not. Yeah, so dealing with that thing was gross. And it still did the confirms for us. Oh my god.
Here's your reward for this battle.
Fucking brutal on our rating here, dude. At least we're back in plus, but yeesh. And that was our run in the Johnny Ridden. Mind you, one of the very few, like, successful runs outside of us getting mugged by Gundams all the time. Like I said, it's got a lot of stuff that's gonna try to really bully it and push it around at this cost. I feel like it'll probably click for one or two people. But I would also say that there's some more aggressive suits at these cost ranges that you really don't have to work too hard to get. And you're definitely not having to do guaranteed banners right before anniversary. Do I think that this will probably become a little bit more common if they put it in another event? Or, you know, if people incidentally get it while it's in the gacha later on? Yeah, I think so. It's not super awful, especially for people who want something that's a little bit more similar to the X1 Patrol. At 500, the 450 I think will probably appeal to some people. But then again, you also have the Char's Gelgoog, right? So I don't know. Well, it all kind of depends. But we'll be running this throughout the week, trying to get some usage out of it. If I do get the other suit, the Iris, at some point, we'll try to do a video for that. But, like, again, anniversary is close. Not really super top priority compared to whatever they're going to drop there. But we'll see, right? Getting closer. Probably going to be towards the late end of this month that we actually start seeing the dev letter and all that stuff, talking about what we're going to be getting. But that is the long and short of it for the Johnny Ridden Gelgoog. If you want to see me try to do some other matches with this in the future, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out our live streams. We do our dailies on YouTube and Twitch every day. And until next time, this is Gustav the 13th. I will see you guys in the next episode.